Hey, Brian from Snake Bytes here. It's that time of the year. Baby snakes are hatching, and we're going to talk a little bit about snake economics. You're watching Snake Bytes. Well, baby snake season is definitely here, and this is where we keep our colubrid eggs, right up here. It's 82 degrees, which is perfect incubation temperature for colubrids, and our first babies have been hatching just over the last couple days. So I want to show you guys a little bit about what's happening and see the very first babies. Again, there's going to be tons of them. These are all due to hatch in the next couple months. So there's going to be tens of thousands of babies hatching. It's super exciting around here. First off, I want to just show you what these guys look like when they first come out of the egg. And as you can see, this is actually an apricot Pueblan clutch. And you can see these little babies look really cool, and they're already kind of opaque going into shed. We'll get these guys set up here today or tomorrow and actually probably have their first meal in about a week. But what's interesting about these guys is I wanted to talk a little bit about snake economics and what something like this value is. What it really comes down to is supply and demand with anything. These guys are actually in pretty high supply, and the demand is pretty good for them, but there's so many babies that they're not very expensive. A good apricot Pueblan is going to cost you anywhere from $40 all the way up to $75 for an exceptional specimen. Again, these prices can change year to year and even sometimes within the same season. Moving on to the next box. Sometimes I'll actually put two clutches in the same box just because we have so many eggs we don't have enough room to keep them. What you have here are Pueblan milk snakes, and these are normals, a little bit different than the apricots, and they actually go for a little bit less too. You can sometimes find these for as low as $30 or $35, and then the jet black ones are nigritas or Mexican black kings, and these guys are one of my favorite colubrid snakes because they're just so glossy jet black, especially as an adult. These guys typically sell for about $40 to $60 depending on how black they are, because some will actually have a bunch of yellow tipping on them. These are the first Mexican milk snakes that I've hatched this year. They're actually an annulata, and they're really, really beautiful. The thing that's really interesting about these snakes is most snake eggs take about 60 days to hatch. Believe it or not, these guys hatch in about 45 to 50 days. It's just from the region that they're from, and certain colubrids will actually do this. Again, they're not as popular as the Pueblan milk snake because they're kind of a little bit of a smaller animal as an adult, and they just haven't caught on as much, but they're still a really cool tricolored milk snake. They go for about $40 to $50 wholesale. Okay, on to some corn snakes, and as you can see, this guy is actually still not even out of the egg yet. It looks like a striped buttercorn, and it's just halfway out. This will probably be out later on today. The rest of the clutch, all these guys are buttercorns, and these are the first corn snakes of the season, and there's no doubt that corn snakes are the most popular colubrid snake by far. Some of them can be as cheap as $15 or $20, and some can go all the way up to $1,000+, and even the scaleless corns will go for up to $4,000 a baby, believe it or not. But these little buttercorns, they're not too bad. They're about $40 to $60 depending on where you find them.
Alright guys, it's Cal's question of the week. Now fall is here. It's a huge time in the sports world. You got the MLB playoffs coming up, you got hockey, football, basketball starting. I mean, there's huge controversies like LeBron in Miami, and it's always exciting to see how bad the Detroit Lions are going to do. Actually, I couldn't care less about anything besides hockey, but text or video comment below. Let me know what you're looking forward to.
This clutch I was so excited to hatch out. This is actually a scaleless Texas rat to a scaleless Texas rat. But the thing you can see on these guys is that when they hatch, because they don't have any scales, they get coated with vermiculite, and you actually have to wash them off before you set them up. And you can see how they're just kind of dull until you wash them off, and then they're just beautiful scaleless Texas rat snakes. As these guys get bigger, all of this coloring here will actually turn bright red, and then their saddles will turn mainly black. So you have this really bright red and black snake, again with no scales except for a few here and there and the ventral scales. When it comes to the scaleless snakes, the demand is really high and the supply is pretty low, so you know what that means. They're pretty pricey animals. These guys selling away from $1,000 to $1,250 per baby. Okay, this box looks like there's actually some albino Brooks Kings, which are these guys right here, and some normal albino corn snakes. As you can see, this clutch is just hatching, and you see the little noses and the actual bubbles that they're blowing as they're breathing their first breaths of air.
When these days are no retreat, you play the fool.
In this box, we actually have a combination of albino corn snakes and ghost corn snake. So again, kind of two of the animals I was talking about a little bit. And you can see this animal in particular right here. This would be more considered a silver queen. You can tell the difference between the two. The one's really light and faded and really pretty looking. The other one's just a little more dark, and that's the difference between a high-end ghost corn snake and a kind of average ghost corn snake. This is a ball python clutch that I just brought over that just hatched out, and we are hatching ball python clutches every day, sometimes several a day, so it's always really exciting to see what we have. This was actually a cinnamon woma bred to a cinnamon pastel, so there were some pretty cool animals that might have hatched. You can see this guy's just a normal. I'm not sure where that thing came from, but these guys are the cinnamon womas right here, and you can see they're really cool. I really like this particular combination. I think it benefits both the cinnamon and the woma and makes just some really beautiful snakes. This is another cinnamon woma, so we really got lucky and got 3 cinnamon womas in one clutch. This guy here is just a normal cinnamon pastel, and then another animal that is super awesome are these super cinnamon pastels. Basically what this is both cinnamon genes together, so it's the dominant version. The thing that's hard about this is because there's woma gene, this could potentially have a super cinnamon woma, but I'll have no clue until I breed it out. One of the things I did want to talk about though, which is kind of sad in this clutch, is super cinnamons have some defects where they have like some nose issues and sometimes even some deformities. And sure enough, one of the animals in this clutch, as you can see, has a really severe kink. And unfortunately, it's such a severe kink that I'm not sure that we can even save the animal. We'll probably set it up and see how it does. And usually when there's some kinks that they will survive, we'll just hang on to them as pets here. But this guy's pretty severe. And again, cinnamon pastels are kind of known for that when you get into super cinnamons. I would say 1 out of every 15 or 20 super cinnamons we produce have some kind of major kinking issue or a really bulbous nose. But anyways, they are super cool animals other than that.
All right, fans, you know what I hate more than anything? Brain freeze. That brings us to today's competition with George, Chewy, and the newcomer, Noah Barczyk. This competition involves drinking Slurpees as fast as possible. The last one to finish their Slurpee gets a face full of snakes. All right, 3, 2, 1, go! All right, Chewy's out of the gate hard. Sucking real good. George is sticking in there real steady with the sucking. You got little Noah Barczyk. Little sucks, but it seems like it's working for him. Uh-oh, Chewy seems to be having some problems. Some internal organ problems. They're out too cold, he's shutting down. George keeps going. George's still going strong. Chewy has come to a dead stop. I don't know how he's gonna pick himself up from here. And here's some sucking real hard over there. Seems like he's reaching the bottom. Did he reach the bottom? George! First one done! All right, seems like a dead heat between Noah and Chewy, but Chewy seems to be fading away. All right, looks like Noah's almost done there, and Noah finishes! George places first, Noah places second, Chewy in a very disappointing third. A DNF, he did not even finish, which means Chewy can get some snakes on his face. All right, this is what's gonna happen. We built this contraption for Chewy. We're gonna place 30 baby rat snakes on his face. Now, he's not allowed to move at all. If he moves and tries to get out of the contraption, the 30 seconds starts all over again. All right, Chew, so how'd it go?
It's fine. It's easy.
Was it better than you expected, or?
Listen, we don't need to play little games. You can send in your challenges. I've been doing this for years. That's all I do. Just send them in. I'll do them. We don't need to play little Slurpee games or nothing.
Well, you heard it from the big man. Text below. Let us know what you want to do next.
For this week's Comment of the Week on the Snake Eggs and Incubation episode, the question was, what's the most extreme weather you've ever experienced? And All for Athena said,
The craziest weather I've been in are probably the hurricanes that I used to encounter yearly when I lived in South Florida. It really didn't matter if it was Cat 3 or 4. A bunch of friends and I would go around and dance in the puddles and party because school would be canceled. It would have to be that or the time I went to Ana Nuevo State Park in Cali. The winds were, I'm not kidding, measured at 100 miles per hour. Pelicans were flying backwards and Mom almost tripped over an elephant seal.
well, that sounds like some pretty extreme weather. I'm not so sure about that elephant seal thing. I'm still trying to figure that out. But you guys keep sending me creative comments. I'm going to feature you on a future episode. So there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed the show and are as excited as I am about all the baby snakes that will be hatching. I hope you learned a little bit about snake economics too. By the way, we're going to be traveling all across the country for show season. We might be in a town near you, so if you guys want to go to a cool reptile show that we might be attending, go ahead and check out bhbreptiles.com. You'll find the list of shows we'll be attending. Until next time, this has been Snake Bytes.